Trump exposes white genocide in South Africa in front of the African president's face. This is what I freaking voted for. Absolutely insane. Yesterday's scenes from the White House was absolutely priceless. I can't believe anyone could be against any of this. It's fantastic to see a president actually take charge in a country. Two DC Jewish diplomats were assassinated last night while the guy screamed, "Free Palestine," and there's a chance I might actually know this guy. In a weird way, I feel like I've met him. And Hakeem Jeffries caught lying about the new bill that Donald Trump just pushed. The beautiful big bill. And so much more. You're not gonna want to miss this, but first let's check this out. Check this out. Hey, excuse me. How you feeling on this lovely, lovely morning?
You fight on, fight on.
Okay, you can sing, girl.
You fight on.
Yeah, I like that.
You fight on.
Ooh.
When your government is doing you wrong, you fight on. Oh, you fight on.
Beautiful. Let's start the f***ing show.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go, lady. Let the world
Trust the government.
She sent in a little video for us. Oh. Here she is.
Hey, in spite of everything you've heard, and let me just make sure you all know that it's actually me. Say, it's me.
Anti-woke.
Anti-woke?
suck on this, Biden.
Would we the all
Good morning, everybody. How are we doing, Mary Jane? Thank you guys so much for being here on this lovely freaking morning. I don't feel that great, so if I'm coughing at all, I apologize. I don't know what's going on. I think it's allergies. I hope it's nothing else. Please, God, do not let me get sickos. I cannot believe this is a real clip. And yes, it was doctored a little bit, and yes, it went through, yes, it went through the Twitter sphere yesterday, all day yesterday, and people were like, I can't believe this is real. How is this real? It was clipped up, but she actually did it in an interview. Absolutely hilarious. After being charged by Nancy Mace, the one that wants to put her bazungas out for everyone on the internet to see, she says this in the CNN interview.
Congresswoman, you are now facing a federal charge, though.
Yeah.
Are you afraid of what's going to transpire now?
Yeah.
You fight on, you fight on, you fight on, you fight on. When your government is doing you wrong, you fight on, oh, you fight on.
Amen. I think the weirdest part of this clip is that this woman on CNN, I can't move. Okay. This woman on CNN just stays there. If I'm interviewing somebody and somebody just breaks out into some kind of gospel harmony in the middle of my segment, I will freaking start dying laughing. Who are you to not laugh at this? This is when you know, okay? What's up, Kristen? This is when you know these news anchors, these journalists, they're not real people. Because somebody with real human emotions would just see what was happening and just start laughing. They would just be like, the frick are you doing, dude? Are you okay?
On, you fight on. You fight on, you fight on. When your government is doing you wrong, you fight on. Oh, you fight on.
Gorgeous.
Congresswoman.
But when we think about government doing us wrong, I think about South Africa. Now, for many years, I've heard about South Africa, and I've heard, like, you don't want to travel there, especially as a white person by yourself. You need to have protection. You need to go with security guards, just like Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden was reportedly there, but he had Secret Service protecting him the entire time. You don't go out in the streets. So this idea that it's like some kind of racist trope to say that it's dangerous for white people in South Africa is a lie. But they don't care. They don't care. And they still deny wokeism is a religion. Yeah, I know, right? She was literally just singing to singing to one of her apostles, the CNN apostles, the CNN greatest apostles. But watching Donald Trump obliterate the South African president was fantastic. And it's not like the media had all the same reactions when it came to everything that went down, right?
The dramatic scene in the Oval Office today, the tense confrontation, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
Next, another Oval Office meltdown. President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
President Trump is being accused of conducting something of a diplomatic ambush of South Africa's president in the Oval Office.
To be with you, I'm Katie Tur. President Trump orchestrated another Oval Office ambush today.
Today, Donald Trump meeting with the president of South Africa and attempting to ambush and humiliate that leader.
Zelensky territory, where essentially he was a bit ambushed inside the Oval Office.
Felt like an ambush in there, kind of like the President Zelensky meeting in the Oval Office.
This was an ambush. It was orchestrated.
Cyril Ramaphosa brought his best diplomatic self to this meeting, but nothing could have prepared him for this multimedia ambush.
What started as, to some degree, an ambush.
Well, Katie, I mean, it was an ambush.
Ambush.
Ambushed.
An ambush.
Ambushing.
Ambushed inside the Oval Office.
I'm starting to feel like Donald Trump is getting ambushed by the media. Look, and none of the ambushing would have happened if you would have just brought over a plane. This South African president had the gall to show up in our White House, not offering Donald Trump a plane. When I say Donald Trump, I mean the Air Force. And if he would have just brought a plane, he would have accepted it.
We need an Air Force One until that's Air Force One. It's being built. 2 of them being built. But Boeing's a little bit late, unfortunately. So why did they give us a plane to the United States Air Force? That's what that idiot talks about after viewing a thing where thousands of people are dead.
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. I take it. I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay. But coming back to this issue, which...
Give Donald Trump a plane right now. Give him a plane. I don't know if you watched some of this interview back and forth between the president and the South African president, but it was fantastic. You watched a man with a very soft-spoken voice, not able to get a word in with Donald Trump. Anytime the South African president was trying to have his little moment in front of the media to show his power or strength or gall or manliness or South African gut, as they say in Spanish, You watched Donald Trump. Anytime he started talking, Donald Trump would just start talking and talk over him, and then he would quiet his mouth. It's important, okay? It's important when you're a president to have a very powerful voice. And Donald Trump has that. When he speaks, everybody in the room shuts their mouth. It's just so fantastic to watch. But the craziest part, too, was when they talk about this ambushing. Yesterday's big thing was actually... pretty much an own to the media, because the media is saying that Donald Trump is lying about these white farmers experiencing people that want to take away their farms or kill them and stuff like that. And the media is like, that's just racist. Okay, black people can't be racist towards white people. That's like the stupidest thing ever, okay? Yes, white people can be racist towards blacks, but guess what? Black people can be racist towards white people. I've seen it a lot of times. And the most racist people I've ever met are Asians. Love my Asian community, but holy crap, you guys are on another level. It's like, I remember when I would walk into people's like Asian communities and they'd be like, what are you doing here? I'm like, where do I go to the bathroom? Which water fountain am I supposed to drink out of? Trump the Cyrus is now going to be flying Palace Camel. Yeah, I think so too. I think so. Facts, the media ambush. It was a media ambush. But this is where Donald Trump just absolutely takes it on another level. I mean, yesterday Donald Trump showed up with at least 15 news articles with this president, and it just was just throwing them out. And then he put together all the news articles and put it on his lap. Put it on the South African's lap. He's like, you know what? You just take it. Wilson, I hope you're doing well too, my friend. But this right here was one of my favorite moments. And then we'll get to my ultimate favorite moment. We'll save the cherry on the top where Donald Trump says to dim the lights and get sexy with the South African president.
Even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
He's talking about the small minority party that's going around saying that to kill the white person and take their land. It's just a small party. You know what? It's just a few people. It's just a few people. Yeah, it's just a couple of people. They're allowed to exist.
In terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can
take land. And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill...
We're not allowing them. They're just doing it.
The white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No. There is
nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country.
We do have a thing called criminology in our country. That being said, if you come to our country, make sure you are packing some serious heat.
People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now been utilized.
The farmers are not black. I don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads shot.
Now, the left will say that those grave sites and those things that you're driving through, where the crosses were on the side of the road all the way up, they'll say that is just propaganda. Now, whether it is or not is beyond the question. They're still dismissing the fact that these farmers are getting killed. And remember, even CNN itself said, yeah, I guess a couple of farmers have died. My God. And CNN is known for lying. And so if they're willing to, and I'm not just saying CNN as a company, I'm saying CNN as the people that are on this company. If they're willing to even give that little credence, that little segue, that little thought, that little truth, you know that it's way worse than what they propose. Trump is gangster.
They died violently. And, you know, I mean, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here. But I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake, like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it.
Yeah, exactly. They would totally be covering it. Trump is basically Chris Hansen here. Yeah, he's like, this is the seat right here, the Chris Hansen seat. Why don't you have a seat? Why don't you come in and have a seat? At least he dressed in a suit. But he didn't bring a airplane. And that's where I draw the line. If you come in, you better come in with bringing some sort of gifts. But this is my favorite part of the whole meeting, was where Donald Trump says, turn down the lights. I have something to show you. Turn down the lights. I have something that everybody wants to see, including the news media. And this dude right here. Can you imagine being this dude? He's like, what's happening? Why are we turning down the lights? You're about to find out why we're turning down the lights. What is happening? I've never had lights turned down. In South Africa, we keep the lights on and socks on. You're going to love when I turn down the lights. Let's listen. I just want to hear that first part.
Turn the lights down. Turn the lights down. Turn the lights down. And just put this on. It's right behind you.
I just want to turn on some music when he says that. Let's just a little bit.
Turn the lights down. Turn the lights down.
So this is where he gets quote unquote ambushed. And this is the video that they show, and they're showing the small party that is just a small faction of people that want to take over and kill white people and take over their land because of apartheid, and they feel like they have some kind of grievance against white people that from past generations of what they did to their land. Even though South Africa is one of the most developed regions in that area, whatever, whatever, it's such a bad thing. The Africans should have dressed like Eddie Murphy coming to America. That would have been so much funnier. Maybe he can get a job at McDonald's. Turn the lights down low, baby. And then they put this video on. So he put this video on behind the scenes, and you just get to watch him watching it.
There's nothing you can do. There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land.
Yes.
South African occupy land. That's who we are.
Honorable
do whatever
member,
you want to do.
Speaker,
You can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament.
Honorable. Yes, honorable member.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill. Yamasa. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa. Pa. Brr, pa. Pa. To kill. Yamasa. Kill the poor, the farmer. And again, this is the small faction just taking over an entire soccer field. We're just a couple people, okay? Just a few people for a concert. This is basically a Kanye West rally.
The mayor of DA in PE is a white man.
No.
So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashaba and Soli will not be touched.
You know what? I'm going to, that's an army. It literally is. I'm going to South Africa and I'm testing to find out if I am actually black. That's how we'll test. If they kill me, they kill me. But if they don't, it's true. I can now say that I'm black.
They will be touched, don't worry. But we are starting with this whiteness.
Ooh.
We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Shoot to kill. Yamasa. Kill the boo.
Can we talk about this guy's running form? It's absolutely horrible. Let's check in. Let's zoom in on the knees. Absolutely horrible running form coming from the South Africans.
Kill the boo.
Run in place like the rest of us do for running warm-ups. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Those knees are getting bowed out.
Yamasa.
They're coming out to the side. I don't like that. I want my knees over toes, bros. I didn't know that many people live there. Yeah.
The boo. The farmer.
There is that like weird thing about being American when you see other countries where you're like, really? Millions of people live there? How? We don't hear about these people. How many people live in there? Oh my God. Really? I don't believe that. I think there's only like 20 people in South Africa. I'm with you, KB.
Kill the boo. The farmer. Brr, pa. Pa. Brr, pa.
You know what? And as a black man, I am pissed off at the diversity on that stage. You're going to be a soul man? Yeah, exactly. There is no diversity on that stage. And I don't like that. See, this is what happens when real comedies get into power. They show their true selves, you know. They're all about smashing the little guy.
Shoot to kill. Yamasa. Kill the poor. The farmer. Kill the poor. The farmer. Brr, pa.
Yeah, just a couple of people. This is AI, right? Oh, it's not AI. They don't have AI in South Africa. Look at all them future farmers. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, we have not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocidal call.
Cry babies.
Yeah, exactly. Just all these crybabies. Yeah, we're not calling for the genocide of white people. No, I can't guarantee that in the future, though. What? What? What is that? What? Okay, I feel like you're being disingenuous right now. Not gonna lie, this song slaps. Yeah, if you don't mind dropping a like on this video, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Chris, for calling out the people. Oh yeah, and here is the part where this is all the crosses that the left says is just propaganda. That traffic jam. And they drive on the left side of the road. Get rid of the country. Get rid of the country. So that was the ambushing video that was just so bad. But here's this black dude on CNN that decides to drop some knowledge about like what the genocide or killing the Boers actually means. Take it away. And we're going to give it away to our black authority on CNN.
Larry, has been debate over that song.
Yeah.
That anti-apartheid chant. Right. And
yeah, they keep saying kill the Boer, and there needs to be some debate about that. What does that actually mean? We're confused about these words because they seem to imply that they want to kill white people. And people are debating whether that's true or not, even though they're actually saying it out of their mouth. I need to know better to understand what they mean. Go ahead.
Larry, has been debate over that song.
Yeah.
That anti-apartheid chant.
We're
right.
debating.
And for people who don't have a historical context, it does potentially appear more literal. Talk to us about the debate that has happened inside of South Africa with the recognition of how it appears to people when they hear those words.
Yeah. You know, and we're going to give those guys the benefit of the doubt on CNN. We don't know them, okay? They've been through a lot.
It is an inflammatory song, without a doubt. And many in South Africa, even black South Africans, don't think it should be sung in a post-apartheid world, 30 years plus after apartheid. But there are many who grew up under those years of white minority rule who understand the historical context of this song, Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer, that Julius Malema has made popular again. It sort of fell into disuse. It's not been that commonly sung after the end of apartheid in 1994. But it's brought it back again to reanimate the issue of the majority of land in South Africa still being owned by white farmers.
Yeah, that's the problem. These daggum white farmers that love to farm and are feeding people in South Africa. Huge problem there. If I was South African, I'd be pissed off about that. I would be so mad. I'd be like, I can't believe that this delicious, incredible meat and potatoes on my plate today came from a white farmer. We're never going to be healed as a nation until we have a black-only farmer fields in the world. And remember, it's just historical context. So because of history, you're allowed to say whatever you want today. And I love that cope. Even CNN is like, I love that this liberal, it's always, I'm telling you, liberal white women, man. These liberal white women, dude, you got to watch out for them. She's like, I'm going to give these people the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, and people aren't understanding the historical context of this song. There's some historical context. Really? So any kind of historical context you can use in today's world that doesn't fit into the context of today? If I say context one more time, I'm going to lose my No more context. How about we just take them for what they say out of their mouth? How about we just do that? No, thanks. That would be being totally genuine. And here's the South African police commissioner saying this.
It's not me talking. These are the stats. We have a problem with the black man in South Africa.
Okay, that's racist.
We have a serious problem.
Oh, God.
What we see here, we put the colors, the races of perpetrators that we've arrested.
Those perpetrators?
All the green, as you can see, almost everything is green here, which means almost everything is black that is committing crime.
What?
Out of total of 60,000 cases, criminals that were arrested between the age of 16 and 25 years old. 16 and 25 years old. We arrested 60,000 criminals in this past financial year, in this period of 5 years, I beg your pardon, not in financial year, this 5-year period that we are counting. Out of this number, 57,691 of them were black men.
Oh, that's a high percentage. Please don't say that.
Out of 60,000, 57,000 of them are black men.
Okay.
That we've arrested. It's not me.
Okay. Somebody needs to send in the next DEI representative from America to teach him about the fact that he's being racist by quoting stats and statistics. Facts over feelings, folks. Hey, Democrats, if you want to start razzing them, go ahead and work in Africa. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, dude. Every time I hear about learning about wanting to travel to South Africa, everything tells me I probably shouldn't. Made popular by the audience, the people that are wanting to hear it. Yeah, exactly. When people tell you who they are, believe them. Yeah, but Junior, you got to see it in the context in which they're saying it. It's so stupid. Even Marco Rubio is telling Tim Kaine to go to Africa, or literally that he hates white people. And they do. This is why guilt is so cringy.
Statutory phrase says you are entitled to entrance as a refugee if you demonstrate a well-justified fear of persecution.
No, you're not entitled.
So
you're
can
allowed.
You have a different standard based upon the color of somebody's skin? Would that be acceptable?
Well, I'm not the one arguing that. Apparently you are, because you don't like the fact that they're white, and that's why they're coming.
I'm just asking you to say that would be unacceptable.
Well, no,
that
I would say that the United States...
a very easy thing to say.
The United States has a right to pick and choose who they allow into the United States.
Even based on the color of somebody's skin.
You're the one that's talking about the color of their skin, not me. These are people whose farms were being burned down and they were killed because of the color of their skin. Well, you've demonstrated enough because you think anyone should be allowed into this country for any reason because they met a certain criteria.
Who has said that?
We are going to prioritize people that come into our country on the basis of what's in the interest of this country. That's a small number of people that are coming.
But you said this weekend that
but
there
in other
would be more.
cases, it's harder to vet. In other cases, it's more difficult. And by the way, the United States...
Like 50 white farmers come to America and liberals are like losing their mind. But then there's like millions of people that have crossed the border illegally. And they're like, totally fine. Totally fine. These white farmers that have had their land taken away from them and, family members killed, that is their problem. Like, what the frick is going on, dude? We all want their hardworking white farmer. I'll take any. We need some farmers, okay? We need some farmers in America. But again, and I've said this before, when the farmers that came here, you saw families, you saw kids, you saw women with men. And you didn't see the most fit 20-year-old military age fighting men. You saw some thick farmers. You saw some fat boys. And that's okay with me. But it was a different sight. It was a family members coming to America, waving the American flag, wanting to be a part of this nation. I feel like I trust people that are excited to be in America, that want to serve and want to produce stuff, than people that come here waving their country's origin flag, who are like here, but if anything bad happens, they're gone. I'll take people that want to be a part of this country more than anything else. Let's hear from Don Lemon. What does he think about white farmers coming to America? He's probably triggered by it because he's on the left side.
This South African farmer bullshit, which is the most...
Excuse me, sir. We don't say that language.
Blatantly obvious racist shit ever. It is blatantly obvious the way that we treat white South Africans, who, by the way, for the most part, and I am generalizing here,
you are
some of the wealthiest people.
You should have stopped there. I'm generalizing.
Well-to-do people in the country. They speak their language. They own most of the land and the property, and somehow they're being granted a fast track to become Americans while they're trying to cut down on immigration from other countries. You get that from where? From the brown people. On March 7th, Trump took to Truth Social to announce he is offering white South African farmers, quote, a rapid pathway to U.S. citizenship, pointing out that South Africa's new land reform push signed into law last year, which lets the government take land without compensation if the property is not being used and there's no intention to either develop or make money from it. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you some context here. They're not just taking land away from white South African farmers. White South Africans, about 9% of the population, owned 87% of the fertile land.
And that's a problem. And I'm Don Lemon. That's a problem. It's the percentage of farmers. And my favorite too is Don Lemon brought on this black farmer to talk about this farming right here. And this black farmer's like, he thinks that these white farmers are coming to America to take black farms or something. These people are so cringy to me. They're just so dumb. Like, if you are some kind of like race supremacist, it's easy to spot you guys from a mile away because you guys are obsessed with race. You're obsessed with it. Go ahead.
Talking about the white Afrikaners who were allowed into the country and what that means for the black folks and the black farmers. What's going to end up?
Yeah, what does that mean for the black farmers in America with white farmers coming here? What does that mean?
And the black farmers who've lost so much land over the decades here in the United States because of the racist policies. What does this do? What does this mean? When you see this, what do you think?
Well, Don, this is a slap in the face to America's black farmers right now. Here you have the President of the United States flying in white farmers.
Talking about the white African.
Black people will never recover from 50 white farmers coming here. I had no idea they were so freaking weak. just weak. What are you talking about? This is a slap in the face of black farmers. How so? I don't know, but it has to mean something somehow, right? God, it's just, I always want to ask these people, like, doesn't it get exhausting if you are the victim and you're looking to other races as your problem for your livelihood in America in today's world, and that's all you fixate on all the freaking time? Doesn't it get so boring? Don't you feel repetitive? Don't you feel like at some point you go, you know what? Maybe I'm a little fixated on this due to being either manipulated or something bad happened to me at one point in my life, and I'm still reliving that experience every single day. Like, what is happening? What is freaking happening? Fertile land because non-white farmers ruin their land. Yeah. Nigerian black farmers destroyed their fertile land. The government begged white farmers back. I did see some of those stories. I don't know like how much a lot of those are on the money or not, but it is very curious. Victimhood is exhausting in mental slavery. It truly is. It's like the minute it's okay to feel like a victim, but then you get to a point where you're like, I got to stop feeling like a victim. You have to get to that point, or else you just go into darker and deeper depression, and then your worldview is so skewed that you're not going to have any joy or happiness in life ever again. And you have to compartmentalize and go, okay, that was a bad time in my life. Now I need to just move on because there are other things happening. That one time in my life doesn't dictate the rest of my life. You have to remember that about victimhood complex. But people get stuck in that because a lot of people reaffirm victimhood complex, and then they tell you, yeah, you are a victim, and then they just reaffirm it, and then you're like, yeah, I am a victim, and then the people become a little narcissistic where they want the whole world to revolve around them and make sure that everyone hears their story, everybody knows their truth, everyone needs to bow before them because at one point in their life something bad happened. It's just, why do you want to live that way? It's too much, man. It's too much. You got to get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm moving on. Other things are happening in my life. Good things are happening in my life. I can just take a break. We will give the black farmer a May trophy. Yeah. You mean this guy? Give this guy a trophy or something. Donald Trump, call him up and say that you actually still care about the black farmer, and he might actually listen. I do like that the black farmer is wearing a black button-up shirt with a black hat. It's that black on black on black on black. They're both wearing black. Is that a black supremacist thing? And I love your Jeffrey Dahmer glasses, Down Lemon. Where are the bodies? Where are the bodies? Tell us where the bodies are. Okay, a little coffee break. Fantastico. Libertarian says Zimbabwe kicked out all their white farmers. Rwanda said, come on. Now Rwanda is booming and Zimbabwe is crying. Dude, shout out to, I love a good Rwandan coffee. Get those white farmers in there and start making some coffee. Daddy needs his Rwandan cup of coffee. African coffee, the best coffee in the world. I'll fight anyone to the death on that. I will literally kill the Boer if you say anything negative about African coffee. Shout out to Rwanda, whatever that is. Every time I think of Rwanda, I think about Rwandan genocide. Speaking of genocide, 2 Jews were killed in D.C. last night by a man who was screaming "Free Palestine" the entire time. These Jews were apparently just recently engaged, and they were diplomats. And this story is breaking, and people are worried that is this a white flag incident? Is this government operated? Is this going to be the reason that Israel can finally take out Iran? I'm not totally sure. Apparently, this guy is a part of liberation groups, socialist groups in Chicago. This man was arrested last night and screamed this.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
You know, this is what happens when you get wrapped up in your political ideology and then you decide that you want to take matters in your own hands. And again, reminding everybody that even though the Democrats say that the right wing is the far extremist violence people that push violence because of January 6th, blah, 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 the left has always been way more violent. And right now they feel emboldened. So people are a little freaked out by this summer. And I was looking at this guy, and there's a chance that I have met this guy. I lived in Chicago for a while, and he looks very, very familiar. I'm going to be going through some backhand stuff to see if I do know this person. But those glasses are the worst. Those glasses are the worst. Born and raised in Chicago, holds a BH in English from University of Chicago. See, that's why I'm wondering. I need to know when he graduated. That would be so weird. That would be so weird. You know, you go to school with some people, you go to school with people and you meet them and they're not totally radicalized, and then they get radicalized later in life and you're like, holy shit, do I know you, bro? Elias Rodriguez, who doesn't sound like the whitest name I've ever heard. So if CNN attempts to make it some kind of white supremacist thing, that would be absolutely hysterical. And I'm sure they will. But he's part of the Socialist and Liberation. He loves socialism. He's from Chicago. And people are thinking it might be a white flag. Excuse me. But Alex Jones says this about it, and it had my head spinning as well.
As I've been predicting, as Tucker Carlson's
been predicting,
building up to this summer, you're going to see all of these Hezbollah, Hamas, sympathizing leftist mobs that are completely allied with the Democratic Party, with the communists and socialists of Europe that are funded by Soros and the Rothschilds, getting more and more violent. I predicted the Tesla attacks months before they began as...
I mean, it's not like the most insane prediction ever. It seems pretty obvious at this point. If you don't think this is going to happen, then you haven't followed the context of history.
Well, 6 months ago. This is all part of the dialectic problem, reaction, solution of the very same globalist organizations are funding both sides, just like Israel founded Hamas in the late 1970s to destabilize Gaza and the Palestinian Authority. So this is all building up towards the pretext for a strike on Iran. And most people are either taking the side of Israel or taking the side of the Islamicists. And on the ground, it's real people fighting. And both sides think they're on the right side, but above it is a globalist dialectic of control. And Trump understands this, has really been pushing for peace everywhere.
Can you imagine driving on the highway and then looking over to your left and seeing Alex Jones filming a video on the middle of the interstate doing about 85 miles an hour? That would scare the out of me.
And he's really stopped Israel so far from striking Iran, saying we're not going to help them. But if you see more attacks on Jews, like we just saw at the Jewish Museum in D.C. last night with the diplomat and his wife killed, that will give Netanyahu and the Likudniks the pretext they need. Remember, it was the Likudniks and Netanyahu was in power back on 9/11 with the neocons that were clearly heavily involved in 9/11. And I'll be detailing that more on my show today. I was already planning that ahead of the planned Israeli strike on their nuclear sites. Even though Trump's against it, they're going to try to drag us into it. So people have to be smart. They have to see what's going on. They have to understand that Netanyahu's not popular in Israel. He's maintained control off and on for 25 years with these manipulations. This is a very, very serious point we're at because the globalists want to control the narrative and stop Trump's global peace initiative and global stabilization plan. I am really asking everybody to be smart here, understand that violence is not the answer on either side, and to rise above it and see what this is really all about. This is exactly what we said was going to start happening. And the fact that this Hispanic socialist from Chicago just knew who to kill out of the hundreds of people that were there outside the building and then ran back in and waited for the police. The whole thing is just very, 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 very suspicious.
It's very suspicious and very weird. And even Ilhan Omar has nothing to say when it comes to this, of course.
Congresswoman Omar, can I get your reaction to the shooting that happened in D.C. last night?
I'm going to go for now.
No, thanks. Oh, God. At least she's consistent in her ideology. And last night, even as the cops were giving a press conference about what actually happened, you saw some of the Instagram comments were going off the rails, like suspect or hero, free Palestine, free the world from Israel.
And opened fire, striking both of our decedents.
Free Palestine.
After the shooting, the suspect then entered the museum and was detained by event security. Once in handcuffs.
Free Palestine, do wake up. See, here's the thing for me, too, as well, is that this doesn't actually help the Free Palestine cause. This makes it probably worse for them if you care about that sort of thing. Like, this is just fuel to the fire. And but this is what the left does. They like to take out people that don't deserve to be hit. I mean, what do these people do that deserve that? I don't know. They were going to an Israel event or something and they're Jewish. It's absolutely insane. It's sad to see that in 2025 we're still doing stuff like this. They claim to be different and woke and good people, and the Jews are actually the bad people. Yeah, you're not helping your cause. You don't help your cause, because normal people like you and me look at that and go, okay, you guys are psychotic. You guys are psychotic. What did these two people do to deserve that? Huh? You tell me. I think the summer is going to be heating up is what I think is going to happen. There's a lot of anger simmering on the left, a lot of anger. And I know a lot of them, and they are pissed. They're very mad about the deportations. They're very mad about students being deportated back to their country based on things that they've said or written. They're very mad about Donald Trump and letting white farmers in. They're very mad about what's going on in Israel. And then they're like confused about Trump going around to different Middle Eastern countries. They're very pissed. And so that anger doesn't just go away overnight. It doesn't just dissipate. It doesn't dissipate because CNN doesn't talk about it. And I wish CNN would talk about it, but they won't. They won't. They're always quick to talk about right-wing anger or white supremacy, but as soon as their own, ideology has some violence within them, they're like, I don't feel like anything is happening. I don't feel like anything is happening. The Watchman says, I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Come on. Shout out to Phil Collins. I love Phil Collins. The Republicans passed the big, beautiful bill, with two saying nay, Thomas Massie being one of them. Why did Thomas Massie not want this? In the bill, a lot of big things were passed, according to Donald Trump. One big, beautiful bill, he says, has passed in the House of Representatives. This is arguably the most significant piece of legislation that will ever be passed in the history of the country. The big thing for me is there's a lot of good stuff in this bill, but there's also a huge we're being added to the deficit. I think it's like 20 trillion or something like that. It's a big number being added to our deficit. And I'm wondering how we're going to escape that or get out of that, or if we're just going to continue to go into debt and pray that one day some more will bail us out. The bill includes massive tax cuts, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, tax deductions, and when you purchase an American-made vehicle along with strong border security measures, when you purchase an American vehicle, tax deductions when you purchase an American vehicle, pay rises for ICE and border agents, funding for the Golden Dome, Trump savings accounts for newborn babies. Trump savings accounts. I need to look into that. How do I get my newborn on a Trump savings account? Where do we find the Trump savings account for newborn babies and much more? Great job by Speaker Mike Johnson and the House leadership, blah, blah, blah. They passed it as soon as possible. People are going to be excited about the no tax on tips. So those of us in the service industry, are we going to now ask people to pay us $1 and then tip us the rest? I'm not sure how this is going to work out. I don't know how this is going to work out, but I'm excited to see what actually happens. You're going to see people like abuse that in some capacity. I wonder how they're going to rein that in. It'd be hard not to abuse it, you know? I mean, I get tips. Super chats are tips, which I'm excited about. I no longer have to pay taxes on super chats. This is a big thing. If only YouTube wouldn't take 30% of those taxes, those tips. Deportations on the wall. The big thing, too, right now is that you're seeing Democrats lie about how Republicans are stripping Medicaid. And it's not true. Republicans are stripping Medicaid from illegals, where you have all these states that want to pay illegals to have free health care. And that's just not emergency health care, okay? That's also elective stuff like going to therapy and stuff like that. It's not just emergency services. But I love that this dude, Nick, calls out Hakeem Jeffries. And it's fantastic to see that when somebody is screaming at Hakeem Jeffries, his tone and the way he talks isn't able to overcome somebody screaming at him.
Hey, Hakeem, why are you lying about the cuts to Medicaid? Saying that there are cuts to Medicaid when there clearly aren't. It seems. Do you want illegals to have taxpayer-funded health care? Is that what you want? You want illegals? You want U.S. taxpayers to fund health care?
I love that some of these politicians are so robotic. He can't even have a normal conversation with somebody. This is why Democrats don't go on podcasts and speak for 3 hours. They just can't. He's like, the largest cuts to Medicaid, the largest cuts to Medicaid. And he's like twitching out. And he's like, it's like a program that's found a glitch.
Do you want illegals to have taxpayer-funded health care? Is that what you want? You want illegals? You want U.S. tax?
The largest cuts to Medicaid in American history. Yeah, because no one wants to pay these people to have free healthcare anymore. All right, guys, if you don't mind dropping a like on this video, I would greatly appreciate it. I am nervous about this summer, just so we're all aware about what actually will come down. But I want you to also think about this. Don't let that ruin your summer. Don't let that ruin your life. Don't let that ruin your day. Try to continue to live the life that you want to live. Don't let some of these news stories or what's going on in the world dictate how you live daily, because the minute you start doing that, that's a never-ending pit. Because it's easy to get into that famine mindset of like, all hell is breaking loose, we're all going to die. Wait for that to actually happen, or for more signs. It's easy to get in that mindset of like, I need to do stuff, I need to not go outside, there's bad things happening. But there are too many people that do that, and then they never live the life they want to live. So don't become a victim of the world, is what I'm trying to say. Live your life, enjoy your life, make a difference in people's lives. Don't be a psycho either. You don't need to take matters into your own hands on the behest of freaking governments. And the fact that we have like a war that's not even not an American war, a war from another country. I know that we're involved with them and stuff like that. That people are getting killed based on a war that has not happening in America, it's crazy. It's crazy. Don't be mentally ill, laugh at those who are. Yeah, okay, I like that. Get out of the cities. Yeah, you can do that. Get out of the cities, live the life, live a little bit more chill. But also, if you're in the city, just be smart. But also don't let these news stories be the reason you don't like go see a band that you want to see or go out and have fun. It ain't worth living life like that. If you are always trying to preserve the day you die and prolong that, you're never going to be fulfilled. That pit is always going to be empty, and you can't be safe enough from death. Death is going to come for us all. It just does. I don't know. Just my thoughts on that. I see too many people I work with too many people who are paranoid about Trump, and then I worked with too many people who are paranoid about leftists, and there's just the paranoia will destroy you. Will kill you. Will kill you emotionally, kill you spiritually, kill you from living the life that having fun in life. Life is too hard. Life is already hard enough, Life is already hard enough. Just, don't be stupid, but just thinking. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. The pit is always empty without Jesus. Let's go. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. I'll catch you guys on the flippity flop. See you guys tonight. Hopefully we'll have some good freaking videos to walk through tonight. And sorry about the later stream this morning. I just woke up really with a crazy sore throat, and I was like, I'm not talking for a little while. I need to get some fluids in me. So I'm glad everything cleared up. Have a wonderful day. Drop a like on this video. Share this video. Go kiss somebody you love. And remember, when Donald Trump tells you to turn the lights down low, he really means it. I want to hear that one more time. That is seriously one of my favorite things Donald Trump's ever said at a press conference ever in my life.
Turn the lights down. Turn the lights down.
That's the best quote of all time.